Man, there's one glaring thing that people are missing here when it comes to Johnny G coming back to the WWF. It's like nobody is talking about the big elephant in the goddamn room. He literally turned down AEW to come back to the WWF. It's crazy how nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking about the fact that he could have been a star in AEW. And he knew the noise from the fans. He knew all his fanboys wanted him to sign with AEW. Hence why every time they were in Cleveland, every time Dynamite was in Cleveland, everybody always said, oh, will Johnny G show up? Will Johnny G be a surprise opponent? Will he answer the open challenge? Every time they were in Ohio, they always thought Johnny G was gonna appear for AEW. So this is a big deal. The fact that he literally turned down AEW. It's like, of course, Tony Khan wanted to sign him. I mean, why wouldn't he? He is the most decorated guy from the black and gold NXT in history. I mean, he was the face of NXT. Why would he sign him? Of course, he wanted to sign him. In fact, dude, there was a tweet way back, a couple of months ago, that AEW said that Johnny G was gonna show up, but they said it was an error. They actually said Johnny Wrestling is gonna be here tonight. That's what they said. But the guy that showed up was John Morrison. So there was a strong possibility Johnny G was gonna sign with AEW. It was in the works. It's like now all his fanboys are so excited, so happy that he's going back to the WWF. But hold on, bro. You was not saying that when Vince was still there. All you were saying was you want him to come to AEW. See, now I can't see him ever going to AEW. Like, at this point, I see him being a lifer for the WWF now that Triple H is in charge. Because, I mean, what's the point of him leaving ever? I think he's there for life. It's crazy, man. Sad, man. He had tons of potential dream matches for the AEW audience, for them to jerk off to. It's like everybody wanted Johnny G versus Daniel Bryan. Now we might never get it unless Daniel Bryan eventually goes back to the WWF, which I think he will. But nobody's talking about that, man. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. It's like, did he not go to AEW because he knew it was a sinking ship? I think that's the case. Because why wouldn't he go there? It's like that audience, that's a smart mark audience. They know who the hell he is. It's like he would have got a huge pop, huge crowd reaction, even bigger than what he got on Raw. It's like, man, nobody is talking about this. It's like this makes AEW look bad. This dude didn't wrestle for 9 months, right? So I'm sure he was watching Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite, and Rampage, right? I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was watching all those shows. I'm sure he was saying to himself, you know what? I don't like what I'm seeing on Dynamite. Come on, man. He had 9 months to view what Dynamite was about, and he still didn't go there. He still turned up down, even though, to me, he fits everything that they are looking for. It's like, dog, look at Daniel Garcia. Look at Daniel Garcia. The guy is mega pushed, even though he has the charisma of a damn hamburger. You look at Wheeler Useless. He is being pushed like he's freaking Roman Reigns. He has the charisma of a shower curtain, right? And yet he's being pushed like he's a star. Just imagine if that was Johnny G. And yet he didn't want to go there. That's insane. It's been 9 months, man. He's been gone for 9 months. So he had every chance to see what AEW had for him. He didn't like their shows. Let that sink in. A guy that on paper, he fits everything they are looking for, but yet he didn't like what he was seeing. I think he thinks AEW is a sinking ship. The fact that it's like, wow, bro, you didn't want to wrestle against Kenny Omega. You didn't want to wrestle against Bryan. You didn't want to wrestle against Wardlow, MJF, Jay Lethal. I'm like, bro, he had tons of quality matches waiting for him, and he turned them down. Because I think AEW is a sinking ship. Everything is unraveling right now when it comes to AEW. That's insane, man. He didn't want to sign there. And for some reason, you nerds are not talking about that. It's been 9 months. Tony Khan. He signs everybody from NXT, bro. He signs everybody, literally. It's like, dog, he even signed Brock Lesnar's unwanted son. That Parker B guy, that Parker Bordeaux guy. Yeah, Brock's unwanted son. Yeah, he signed him. It's like, who does he sign from NXT? He signs everybody. You don't think he had interest in Johnny G? Of course he was interested. Look, Tony Khan always plays to his audience. If his audience tells him, hey, we want you to bring this guy in, guess what? He does it. He does it without hesitation. If his audience wants you to bring in Johnny G, he will try his best to bring in Johnny G. Right? Dog, he signs jobbers from NXT. Literally. He signs jobbers that got released from NXT. So just imagine. Of course he had a interest in Johnny G, but Johnny G turned them down. It's like, bro, he signed Tony Storm, he signed Lee, he signed Pac, he signed Tony Nese, he signed Buddy Matthews, he signed Andre Idol. He signs everybody from NXT. But yet he couldn't get Johnny G. Come on, man. Look, man, Johnny G thinks it's a sinking ship over there. All this talk about CM Junk and Adam Page, which I still think it's a major work. But I think they are mixing in reality with it being a work. Because Tony Khan said he wants to bring reality to TV. I still think that's a work. That's all I'm saying. I will be shocked if CM Junk and Dean Ambrose actually have a finish. I don't think there's going to be a finish in that match. I'll be shocked if there's a finish in that match. Because this is too sudden. A world title match with no build. A 1 week build. I'm like, nah, man. I think there's money to be made with a feud with Dean Ambrose and CM Junk. There's no way this will be some kind of one-off. No way. There's no way Dean Ambrose and Johnny G and Dean Ambrose and CM Junk will be a freaking one-off. There's no way. Because I think CM Junk and FTR are gonna turn heel. Right? Because Dean Ambrose, he has a 4 to 3 man faction. Which, look, My opinion, it's a 3-man faction. I don't consider Wheeler Useless a part of that group, bruh. Okay, he's the Spike Dudley of that group. I don't pay no attention to Wheeler Useless. And no, he ain't no damn Spike Dudley. Spike Dudley is way better than Wheeler Useless. I'm just using him as an example. But if Dean Ambrose and CM Punk are gonna be in some kind of feud, obviously CM Punk needs some backup. Obviously, I think FTR will be his backup. I think they will turn heel. It's like, why not? Because the Bucks, they turn face. So it makes sense to have FTR turn heel with CM Punk. What do I think about Johnny G on Raw? Look, I bet people are saying, well, he got a huge pop. No, look, man. Triple H is very, very smart. Because why the hell would he bring back Johnny G in Toronto, Canada? A country that he's not from. You know why? Because Toronto, Canada, that is a smart mark town. The Black and Gold NXT always did tons of shows in Canada. That is a smart mark country. That's why some of the audience was cheering him, because they knew who he was. Well, not all of them, but most of them knew who Johnny G was. That's why they gave him a decent reaction. Like he said, he won the NXT Tag Team titles in Canada. So they know who he is. So that's why Triple H chose to bring him back to that smart mark city who loves the Black and Gold NXT. So that was smart business that he brought him back. Because if he would have brought back Johnny G in the States, like in Texas or Vegas or places like that, or New York, dog, he wouldn't have got no reaction if he would have brought it back to the goddamn States. There's no way. But it was smart that he brought him back to a country that is a smart mark country. That's why they gave him a decent reaction. Don't get it twisted. Right? Do not get it twisted. But what do I think about him on the main roster? You know, I see him being, a decent mid-card guy. Maybe down the line, they might give him maybe a 2-month reign as IC champion. But no longer than that. That's it. I see him possibly being a one-time IC champion, but not for long. Then it's done. He will be, a workhorse mid-card guy. Because I'm telling you, man, once he comes back to the States, they are not going to give him that same reaction that Toronto, Canada gave him. Let's be real. He would not get that reaction in the United States. Only in a smart mark country like Canada. Tell you, man, you have been warned when it comes to Johnny G. That's just my opinion. But the one thing I noticed was, ever since Cody Rhodes came back to the WWF, I have noticed that Damian Priest no longer does the Crossroads. That's what I noticed. He does the Razor's Edge and the choke slam bomb, but he no longer does the Crossroads. I think Vince McMahon told him not to do the Crossroads again. That's just what I think. But it's crazy, man. Nobody talked about how Johnny G, man, turned down AEW. It's like, man, he had all the time in the world to scout what AEW was all about. And it's like, what does he mean by betting on himself? I don't know what he means by that. Dog, what do you mean by betting on yourself? Right? because you came back to your same company. In fact, this was like a goddamn vacation. This dude took a 9-month vacation and he came back to his old company. So how did you bet on yourself? Betting on yourself was what, okay, betting on yourself is what Cody Rhodes did. Betting on yourself is what Kenny Omega did. Betting on yourself is what the Bucks did, FTR did. Right? Betting on yourself means try to make a name for yourself without the backing of the WWF. That's what the Bucks did, Rose did, Omega did. That's what that means, betting on yourself. Freaking Adam Page, he bet on himself, right? Because there was a time where Triple H wanted to sign Adam Page, but Adam Page turned him down. See, that's what betting on yourself means. Try to be a star without a major backing in your corner. So I don't know what he means by betting on yourself. If you came back to the same company that you left, okay, what did you do to bet on yourself? That makes no sense. All you did was take a 9-month vacation and you came back. How did you bet on yourself, bruh? But look, man, I see him, being a decent workhorse guy in the mid-card. But one last thing. When it comes to Dexter Lumis, man, I think he will get over with the casual audience. That's what I think he will get over. I'm telling you, man, the more they sprinkle in Dexter when it comes to these shows, he is going to get over. Slowly, every minute, Dexter is going to get over with a casual audience. He has tons of potential as a over character. I said, I'm done.